Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cool JDM Show. I'm your host, Derek, Cool Guy Weldon, and to my left is Mike.
Almost cool guy.
Dennis, and then we also have Max here behind the scenes. Say what's up, Max.
Hello.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about PCA presents. It has been a long time since people gave us free stuff, and so we would like to show it on video so that it encourages you guys to send in free stuff to us.
I think it's been a while since we received a package of cool stuff.
It has been.
But customers come and visit us, and usually, usually, I'm not trying to make that a thing. Or am I? No.
We'll also be talking about the Toyota Will brand. A lot of you guys don't know about this. I didn't know about it, and it is fascinating. So check out that. Also, a special Toyota 70 Series Land Cruiser that's come up for sale. A special one-of-one Honda Mugen Integra that has come up for sale, and then also your Q&A, questions and answers, and so much more
coming up next
on today's Cool JDM Show. I feel like this light is too close to me this time. Is that right? I feel like I'm being blinded by it.
Oh, but you look great on video.
Do I? Yeah. Okay, great. No complaints now. So starting off, this is, if you were very sad last week that you didn't get a Cool JDM Show, that's because we were on vacation, and there was a little bit of a mix-up this year. Because, so to start off with, it's Golden Week. This is a week-long vacation comprised of 4 public holidays that all happen within a week of one another. And so the auctions are closed for a week.
Usually. You
guys don't get to bid on cars. And then we get a million emails going, hey, is the auction tool broken? There's no cars listed. And then you get an auto reply that says, hey, we're closed for vacation. This week was a little bit different because half the auctions decided to do last week and half the auctions decided to do this week as the day off. Yep. And we didn't find out about that until the week of. And so I sent out a panic email to everybody saying, yo, I'll stay and do auctions this week. So I didn't really get so much of a week off as I'd like to. I spent probably about 2 hours per day. It wasn't so bad. It was nice to be in the office alone, away from everybody.
What are you trying
by
to
myself.
Say? Without us here? Rude.
It was different. Honestly, the office with nobody in it is a different experience. And aside from that, I did a couple of family things. I don't know if you guys know, but I bought a plot of land to build a house. I have never owned a house before. I'm in my 40s and I've never owned a house. Jacob owned a house when he was like 21.
Yeah, what the hell, Jacob? Yeah, he said sorry off camera, and he should be.
And so in my Golden Week, I did a couple of things. Here's my plot of land. And as you can see, it's very furry right now. It is coming into rainy season, so the plants are growing. So we did 3 hours of weeding with me and my family. Yeah. And there are a couple of pictures of it, so why don't we take a look at those? Here's my sons picking up the weeds. And there we are, my sons, my daughters, and me. There's no picture of my wife. I don't know how that happened. I guess she was the one with the camera this day. And that was only about a third of the weeds that we pulled. So I know one person in the chat is probably going to geolocate where my house is. Please don't do that. Based on these pictures, I'm sure he could do it.
Yeah. Well, if you do find it, go help with the weeds.
Yeah, it really needs help. We only got about half of it done because there are an awful lot of weeds in the house.
So. Oh, only half, yeah. I mean, that pile was a third of the half, right?
Yeah.
That was a big pile of weeds.
Right. That was not all of it by far. That was the secondary pile we were adding to the big pile. And then we jumped into it. And my youngest son collected worms. We were pulling the weeds out, right? So you had to pull the weeds out of the dirt and the worms would come up. Yeah. So he got a collection of like 50 worms and he was like having like a worm daycare for them.
How did your wife and daughter feel about this worm daycare?
Neither of them liked it very much. But also like we were using shovels to dig, right? So we were getting part of worms. So here's a little guy.
Oh no.
This one's the teenager.
Yikes.
It got cut in half. Yeah,
and Max went strawberry picking. Is that right?
No, I went strawberry picking as well. There's no photo of that. All you can eat strawberry picking.
Oh, you did say,
which is a great way to destroy your love for strawberries for a year. But we do it every year, so by the time another year has passed, we like strawberries again. And then you go there and you get disgusted by eating like 150 strawberries.
Wow.
And then
it's a good effort. I don't think I got that many. I was like 20, and I'm like, no, too many strawberries.
You've done the strawberry picking then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is very cool.
And they give condensed milk here, which is a little strange because strawberries are already sweet, but that's the thing you do here. Sweet condensed milk.
I don't like the condensed milk at all. I find it so gross.
Not for me either.
How about you guys? What did you do on Golden Week?
I did a couple of day trips to Miyagase.
Ooh.
For car driving?
No, we went to the park and the suspension bridge up there.
Oh, cool.
It's a very nice park.
Yeah.
To go. Not many people around. And I went to the Big Bang drifting kart thing.
Big Bang drifting kart thing?
Yeah, it's become popular on YouTube and Instagram with people.
Oh.
And it's surprisingly hard to do.
It's an indoor go-kart, and it has no proper ventilation, so it smells like exhaust fumes in there.
Yep.
And it's a small track. It's like...
It's an oval.
Yeah, it's very, very small. You can walk around it in about a minute.
No, I've 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, probably 30 seconds. It's basically just an oval.
And you just practice drifting, I guess.
You can go, there's a 5 ticket, so you can go 3 minutes 5 times for 2,000 yen.
Okay.
Which is fairly cheap.
And now the reason Max is doing this is because he's getting into drifting.
Not really.
This is our segue. Max got a drift car, but not actually.
Next is a trip to, what's that famous drift track? I was hoping I would say, there we go. Max Ebisu Matsuri Drift Party.
Yeah, sleep in your car style.
Destroying the Altezza.
And Mike, do you have any big announcements that have happened in the last 2 weeks that may have happened slightly before Golden Week?
I'm pregnant.
Again?
Yep, it's twins. I bought a new car.
But is it a secret? Or are we going to tell what it is?
Secret.
Can we say one letter in the name of the car?
No. As long as it's a vowel, yes.
A vowel?
Yeah, but it has to be...
A Y. There is a Y in the name of your car.
It's not a vowel.
No, but Y is sometimes a vowel, and in this case it is.
There's no vowel.
A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y, and in this case it is. There's your hint, everybody. Look it up. It is not the first letter in the name of the car, but I think that this might be the only car you have ever owned that I would consider owning.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the only car you've ever owned that I would consider cool. It's like, oh boy.
There are a lot of cars that I like, that I think are cool, that I would never own. And that's many of your cars that you've had. Yeah. Like the GTO. Never, ever, ever in my life do I want to own one of those. And you owned 2 of them.
Same time, because I needed to, because you take parts from one to make a whole one.
Right. And if you had to do that 10 years ago, imagine what you have to do now to own a GTO.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. I didn't think about that. But yeah, you can guess what my new car is. I may or may not tell you.
If you guess right, then Mike is going to write you a thank you note.
And a check for $8 million. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that.
Next segment.
This week at PCA.
That's in the next segment, Max.
Okay.
Max is giving me little hand gestures. You can't see it, but I can.
I feel rusty.
Do again with the reverb.
This week at PCA.
Hey.
Okay.
Double reverb. Yeah, so just a quick little update on the Drives Japan channel. We got a ton of new subscribers. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because when I sent out an email to everyone on Golden Week saying, hey, you guys, I'm actually working now because the auctions are open, I was also like, yeah, and if you feel bad for me, click this link. And then the link went to the Drives Japan channel where everybody could go and subscribe. And we gained, you ready for this? 74 more subscribers in the Drives Japan
self-promotion works.
Oh, yes. It is the second biggest spike since the very first spike in the channel. So 74 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you put 74 people all inside of a room at the same time, it sure feels like a lot of people.
Yeah. You think 74 people would fit in here? Probably not.
Okay.
Cool.
Next little topic there. We had a funny comment. Why don't you go ahead and read that, Max?
Yes.
You got it?
From Corky. Please tell me you guys were doing Movember when looking at the 135i. Looking like a Weezer tribute band.
That's a great comment.
Do the Weezer band people, do they all have mustaches?
I don't actually know.
We like Weezer. I love Weezer.
I've been a fan of Weezer continuously, and I think that they still make good music. And most of the bands from my youth don't continue to make good music anymore. Just what happens with all the bands. Yeah. Except Weezer's one of them that I think that they do. I think some of their best work is their current stuff. Are we going to show a picture of Weezer, or are we going to move on to car stuff? Welcome to our show. Cool. We're going to talk about strawberries, weeding, and Weezer.
We're a car show. Yes, that is what we were doing, though. We were doing Movember. Thank you for noticing. I hope you thought we all looked fantastic.
Or
we didn't.
I hope that you thought that we just all really like mustaches at the same time over here.
Company policy.
And by the way, Grant won the Movember because his mustache is massive.
That's true.
You remember, right?
It looks like Flanders.
I have
like
my
thick and
mustache.
bushy.
I have my mustache on my Japanese driver's license because I needed to take a photo during Movember.
Yeah, that'd be so funny if you show up on like one of the final days of Movember with no mustache and we're like, come on, man, what do you do? And you're like, I just couldn't do it with my license picture.
Yeah.
To it. There, that was wonderful.
Dedication.
Okay, a couple more things. We want to talk about my Impreza. This is hot news. We sold an Impreza and it has a little bit of a story, and then someone who bought it was a little bit picky. And so we bought a car from auction. Remember
For a customer.
For a customer.
Like a customer purchased
Remember we
this car.
did the show where we were like, which auctions do you not trust? And we were like, JU Gifu.
Yeah.
Right? Was the only one that we said. So we bought a car from JU Gifu a couple of months ago. 6 months ago or so. And then they're like, you guys, the car that you bought, the Subaru Impreza that you bought, well, it turns out that we crashed it for you. It wasn't a huge crash.
For you, yeah.
But it was like the back fender was all dented in, and it was like, come on, guys, we'd like to cancel. And they were like, can't cancel. You bought this car. And we were like, we bought a car that wasn't crashed in the back.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have to keep it. And, we only have so much that we can fight the auctions here, right?
Yeah. So to give a little bit more context, the back right quarter panel was caved in like a decent amount. Like it looks like somebody had either been trying to move the car and had sideswiped something on the back left, or someone had just hit it.
I think drove another car into it.
Yeah, or a loader or something big.
And so after negotiations, they agreed to pay to fix the damages. But this car had massively faded paint everywhere in the car. We bought the car originally for 1.2 million yen, so about $8,000 or so. Faded paint, had a giant hole in the exhaust manifold, and so it sounded really, really terrible, but the car was otherwise fine. Brought the car in, and then we couldn't just repair the back corner of it because then it would have a nice shiny back corner, otherwise faded paint, and it would look terrible. We want to get out of this car because it's our money that's waiting to be brought back to us, right?
I should also say, like, a customer purchased this car at auction just like everyone does. And then when we found out about the damage and everything, we don't feel good about doing what the auction did to us to somebody else and being like, hey, you have to purchase the car. So we said to the customer, you can just purchase another car. You don't have to buy this one, and we'll deal with the auction thing. So then we proceeded with the repair.
So we decided to fully repaint the car, and it was 675,000 yen to fully repaint it at a shop that did a fantastic job. It was our first time using this shop, and we were really happy about the repair that they did. Fully repainted it, took off the doors to repaint it, took off all the trim. The underside of the hood was repainted. I think they were trying to impress us because I was like, you do a good job. We got more cars for you. And we will.
Which we do, yeah.
But we got back the car, and it was quite beautiful. We fixed the exhaust leak, which was actually really expensive because it was in the exhaust manifold, and the exhaust manifold on the Subaru Boxer engines is up underneath, and there's a ton of stuff, including turbos and stuff that you have to take off in order to get to it. Repaired that, and then sent the car back to auction, hoping we can get about 1.8 to 2 million yen for the car, because now that it is very beautiful, that's how much a beautiful condition car would sell for. Sent it to auction, and the auction graded it a grade 4. Which seemed reasonable. 4 grade with interior C. The interior was a little dirty. It seemed fair. Now, the car had been hit and it had been repaired, but you only get an R grade if it's a repair to the frame of the car. And this one, we didn't know if the repair actually did any frame repairs, and this shop didn't tell us about any frame repairs, and so we didn't think we weren't any the wiser. We just sent it in, and it's the auction's job to grade the car. We just sold it right before Golden Week, and then we came back today, and 2 minutes before the show started, Grant came in saying, we got to talk about something. There was a claim on that car. The person who bought the Impreza bought it for 1.5 million. Ridiculously low price, in my opinion. That was what my reserve price was, and I was expecting it to go up to 1.8 because the car's worth that much. But he just got a good deal on the car. Fair enough. We lost some money on the transaction. These things happen. But then he's like, oh, I got such a good deal on this car, and I'm going to try to claim and get some more money out of you guys by saying that it's been in an accident. Now, he could have found some accident damage in it somewhere, maybe from a past auction. These things happen. Sometimes the car is graded 4, and there is a very small chance of there being some sort of accident repair damage in it. That might be the case. But still, he got a good deal on the car at my expense, and then he's trying to get more out of us, which is kind of gross. So we're not sure exactly how this is going to play out, but in the next episode, we're going to let you know how it happens. The way I'd like things to happen is to just have them give the car back. But considering what they paid, they probably don't want to do that either. And so I'm not sure what the auction is going to say to us. So
the auction here is the mediator in the situation. We never get to speak or deal with the person who bought the car directly. Just like if we buy a car, we never deal with the seller. We only deal with the auction. So it will be interesting to see. We don't sell very many cars at auction. We have had claims in the past. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit of money. You do have the option to cancel, but then you have a penalty too. So,
and then the auctions sometimes have like special rules for that day on the phone. Like if we have a car that we claim was in an accident, they'll say, oh, you got to send that one to the dealer so that they have to prove that it has been in an accident, and you have to jump through these hoops. And then you prove it, and then they're like, I still don't want to do this. But if we're on the receiving end, it's like, you guys have to do that or you're going to lose your membership. And we're like, whoa. You can't have it both ways. Talking about both sides of your mouth. So there will be an update on that. Let's move on to something a little bit more fun. We got 2 presents.
2 presents.
What's better than 1 present is 2.
3.
We had somebody in the chat, and I know that it's not late for you anymore, but it's usually pretty late. I was going to say, it's late for you now, so we're going to get to this now. I know you're waiting up for this, but no, you're in the Philippines right now, so it's not late. It's actually probably, 1 or 2 hours time zone difference?
I think it is like an hour.
The same. A customer came to visit, longtime customer, and part of the reason why our yellow BB exists.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I think so. I forget things frequently, but.
And he came to Japan and got us a number of things. He got us like a whole bunch of ketchup chips.
Ketchup chips.
Ketchup flavored chips are a thing in Canada.
Thank you.
And in South Africa. Right? But they're not really a thing in most places of the world. So if you're a Canadian and you want to really impress us, bribe us with ketchup chips, and you get a really good deal on that. A ketchup chip bag that costs you $5 is going to get you more than $5 worth of our favor. I swear.
Favor is hard to judge, but it will be more.
The 2 of us are the big ketchup chip lovers because I'm the only Canadian here, right? And you're the only South African, and nobody else actually had ketchup chips growing up. So they don't know. Which is
weird. It's hands down the best flavor in the world. Salt and vinegar close second, but ketchup chips number 1.
And so he got us a few things. We got the ketchup chips. We got a present for Max.
Yay!
Please show.
Why don't we show that?
It is Hot Wheel Altezza. I found that on the desk this morning, and I was impressed. Thank you.
I gotta say, I'm trying not to say this person's name, but when Max saw the present, he was like, "What? Oh my God, this is so cool!"
I wanted to buy that one myself, and now I have it.
You know what's cool about that one? It's a North American car. Or like a North American product, the Hot Wheels car, right? Except it's a Toyota Altezza. But that car had a different name in North America, right? It was the IS300. And so weird that they would be like, here guys, here's a Japanese model of the car.
We gotta take photos of our desks and show everyone the little mini car collection we have. I think that
I want to bring the mini cars here and everyone shows their own, because everyone's got a big collection of mini cars.
There is actually a comment in the Q&A section.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Colin also picked up this. Now, we brought it from Japan, but it is lovely.
Oh, this is a special present. I think this is really cool too.
This is a brochure, the original 40-year-old brochure, the same age as me.
I don't think they'll be able to see. Should I hold it?
And go through the pages.
I don't want to break it. It's quite old.
Absolutely smells like a 40-year-old pamphlet. But this is...
Oh, it smells like one of those old stores that you would go into, like...
That's full of pamphlets for Honda cities?
Yeah.
I bet you the store smells very much like this, too. And this is the advertising pamphlet of the Honda City 2 Turbo. As many of you guys know, this car holds a dear place in my heart.
2 dear places in your heart, even.
And it... Is that your blow-off valve sound?
No, that's the...
It also comes with this, and this is I don't know how much you can see, but this is all the options that you can buy for the car, along with how much the options cost.
Ooh.
It was the order list, so you can actually tick off things that you wanted, and then it shows how much labor it costs to install it and everything. It's
there's
very
the labor
cool.
prices. Oh, the part price and the
Yeah.
labor. Oh, cool.
Like, so the seat under tray costs a third of an hour to install, which is a lot for putting a tray underneath the seat.
Yeah. I thought that's
honestly.
where the sub goes. Didn't it have that cool sub thing?
Yes,
under
that
the
is
seat?
an option. It's not a sub, it's a shaker.
Oh, a shaker.
And it just shakes your
A
seat.
booty shaker.
Because that was a thing.
Cool.
So very cool. Thank you for that. And a few other things. We got some Trader Joe's bags, which are popular here in Japan, but you obviously can't buy them. A lot of people don't realize, but like Japanese people love the Trader Joe's bags.
I've seen them. I just assumed everyone always went to the US to get them.
I think that they actually came here with a number of those bags to sell them to the used stores, and then just gave some to us because they realized my wife really likes them. And some seasoning salt and a few other things.
Nice.
Very cool. So thank you for that. We also got this, and we haven't opened it yet, so we don't know what it is.
Now this is a...
We don't even know who it comes from, do we?
Surely there's a return sender, no?
Nope.
Okay.
I looked it up in the customer database, and there's some customer with that address.
Like, we know
Wait,
it comes from.
We don't want
the
to show that
Netherlands, right?
address. Okay. So there's no name, but there is an address. So if you're watching this and you sent this, can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, send us an email and be like,
Because-
I was the guy who sent the package, because we want to
Yeah.
be able to say thank you. of
Yeah,
course.
we'd really like to say thank you.
Show
So this is a
and-
mystery package.
Pacific Coast.
Nice. Good plug. And it says toy car. This is a big package for a toy car.
Right.
It is
the
addressed-
car is going on my desk. It better be a small one.
It's addressed to Pacific Coast Auto. So what makes you think it's going on your desk?
I'm the owner of the company. I make these decisions.
All right. Whoever sent the package, if you'd like to make sure this package goes to me or somebody else, you just let us know.
Send to anyone but Derek at pacificcoastjdm.com.
So I'm trying to open it carefully because the whole thing is duct taped.
I would also like to say, if this is some kind of joke present,
That's even better.
It's anthrax.
That's not better. That's worse.
For anyone
That's
who
much
has
worse.
had a bad experience with us, please don't poison us.
I think there's very few people who would. Okay, we're into the box section, and I understand now why it was wrapped. I think it was inspected for customs, maybe.
And
no,
then
customs usually,
rewrapped?
customs usually has their own tape. I
Mike,
think
with
they
that
probably just used a box that they had and then taped it up so that it was all nice and safe. We're in.
My anticipation is killing me.
Do you want to go on to the next section while I work
I
with
want
this?
you to open that faster, but also I don't want you to cut your hand or me. I don't want that.
Okay.
Gregor was saying, Mike with that knife is making me nervous.
I
Make
am
sure to not show the address.
true. That's what I was trying to do before. The knife is not very sharp.
Next time I'll mark it over so we don't have the address.
So you're
Oh.
saying it's a knife problem, not a user problem.
Correct.
Hey, show
There's the
me
address.
too.
Yeah. I've opened it in such a way that is ta-da! There's more packaging.
Max is going to be
Ta-da!
pointing at
There's
the
still
clock
more.
pretty soon.
Okay.
Just,
Oh,
hey, whoa, whoa.
oh,
let's,
oh, oh.
let's put the blade back into the knife before we open stuff.
Oh,
Or see if you can throw the knife
you-
into the wall.
can you have a look at that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a note. Oh.
It's a package with nothing in it.
Oh, that's very cool. I got a sneak peek. Oh, there's the note.
Okay. Oh, we know who it's from.
Oh, great.
Not somebody I expected it to be from. Hello, Pacific Coast Auto. This present is for your company,
Not for Derek Weldon.
not for me. Okay. I'm still happy with my 2009 Toyota Crown Athlete in black. I bought it 5 years ago to Holland. Enjoy it. What a cool thing to buy a car 5 years ago and then be
Yeah.
like,
Still
those guys need a present.
Wow.
Wow.
Good day from blank. And then what is the toy car?
I'm trying to make sure there's nothing in here. I think it's just packaging. So shall I remove
yeah.
it? Oh, it's got good weight to it. Ooh. That's
wow.
really, really cool.
So
That's giving
that
me flashbacks.
is a, I don't know what kind of car. That's like a C-class race car from DTM, right?
DTM, yes. Oh man, that were the days.
And the interior is all stripped too.
Yeah, it's full race car
It looks
spec.
very
This
Should I
is
hold it into the camera.
Yeah, if you can. It's quite heavy and it's very well made. I didn't see what brand it is,
It's
but
so
that's
weird
really
that there
cool.
are two packages here
Just
that
try not
have
to show
foam
any. I don't know if there's address
that
stuff
have
on
nothing
it, but
inside them. So Customs also took some of the present, it looks like.
I think he just used those for packing. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna say
very
it was
well.
Customs.
Yeah, like all of these things. I think it's car part packaging or something. Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you for that. That's very cool.
Can we keep that on the?
That is heavy.
That is by far the largest car we have here in the office now.
Mercedes-Benz C-Class 118th DTM Class 1. Super cool. Okay, well, let's...
Yeah, front and center.
I don't know if
Is
you
that
can see
in
it.
is that in shot? Oh, record.
Somewhere there.
Next segment, Max.
The wheels turn too. Man, okay, I'm just gonna say this. When I used to play with model cars when I was a kid, I would drive them around like that, and you would turn the wheels like with your finger and your thumb, and you'd be like, Anyway,
Playing with toy cars.
oh, you
Very
can see the
cool.
brake discs too.
DTM, or like, this is my favorite racing series, is the DTM or
Yeah.
the like 300 GT class
Same.
for Japan. I just think it's so cool that the cars look so much like the real cars. Like tube frame cars just don't do it for me because they're not real cars. They're just machines to go fast. And I realize that these are also tube frame cars underneath, but at least they look like the real cars.
Yeah. Peacock Computer. All right, we're now sponsored by DTM. Excellent.
We're sponsored by that guy that sent those in.
Yeah.
You want favors? $5 of ketchup chips gets you more than $5 of favors from us.
No, thank you for sending that in. That's super cool.
So, Mike,
Yes, sir.
I am going to announce the next segment, and then I'm going to say that again. The next segment is Industry Topics and News. And hey, Mike,
Yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole yesterday when I should have been
know.
working. I worked on this for several hours because I just fell deeper and deeper into it. This kind of blew my mind, honestly. You think you know everything in the world. This is obviously what I think.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look at this. There's a snippet of something in the car world that you didn't fully understand. Is this on the screen now?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
So how are we going to frame this for everyone watching? This is
What is it called on the thumbnail? Toyota's big mess up.
Toyota's big
Unknown
mess up.
failed brand. Or Toyota's failed brand.
Okay, so Toyota made a sub-brand from 1999 to 2005, and I've always known about this. There are 3 cars in the sub-brand.
Mm-hmm.
This is before we go into the rabbit hole. The 3 cars we'll explain in a little bit, but they're the Will VI, the Will VS, and the Will Cypher are the name of the 3 cars.
I think we got to put that on the screen so people have.
It is now.
Oh, it is.
So
Okay.
here's the logo for the Will brand. Little did I know, Will is capital W, lowercase I, capital L, capital L. And the reason for that is specific. The lowercase I is for individualism and self-actualization. This is official.
Wow. Okay, that's heavy hitting stuff.
I love when big corporate brands do that, right?
Yeah.
So what is this? What is this brand? I totally thought it was just a Toyota thing until I came to the realization after reading the story for what it was. So, geez, where do I start? It's a big story.
Yeah, I got multiple pages here. I will say that while Derek collects his thoughts, I don't know what you did for this research topic. So I am along for the ride, I guess. I know of little bits and pieces that you told me as you were finding it out, but there was a lot of surprised Pikachu face while researching. So I'm interested. Take us on a journey.
So back in the early 90s, the Toyota president at the time was looking at his sales numbers and realizing that they are falling off for the youth brand.
Okay.
Right? The people under 30, between 20 and 30, just weren't buying Toyotas at the same level as they used to. And so he is like, you know what? We're going to have to do something about this. So instead of doing marketing research and making cars that appeal to young people like a regular car company would do,
Right.
he was like, you know what? I'm going to make a virtual company. So I was like,
company.
okay, I don't know what a virtual company is. So I had to look it up. And this is when a company makes a company within the company in order to have its own corporate structure separate from the larger company. So what he did is he hired about 20 people from Toyota And if you were a Toyota employee at the time, you could apply for this position and go through interviews and then get the position. And then you can become one of the members of the new virtual company at Toyota.
Right.
He only hired people between the age of 20 and 30 because he wanted to make cars that would appeal to people that are that age. And so this is a group with a CEO and a marketing director and all of these group people that were all young people who probably shouldn't have had a position.
Positions of authority.
And
right. Okay.
they had to come up with some sort of idea and then show it to Toyota's board, which was full of older people who are like, all I know is fax machines. Maybe to some of these people in the 90s, a fax machine was the new technology, right? We always make fun of Japanese brands for continuing to use the fax. And the fax machine comes into this story too a little bit later. What they came up with was a grand idea to come up with a new brand, which is called the Will brand.
Right. So this company within Toyota was not called Will, but the brand this virtual company came up with was called Will.
Right.
And this is the initiative that they deceived or perceived.
But instead of making Will a car company, and this is the part that I completely didn't know because I wasn't around in Japan in the late 90s, early 2000s yet. I showed up in 2006. 18 years.
It's a long time.
Toyota was like, you know what? Let's make Will a bigger thing. So what they did is they went out to, Toyota, the biggest car company in Japan, went to every industry's biggest company in Japan. They went to the biggest beer industry, the biggest electronic industry, the biggest travel agency, the biggest stationery industry. And
Really
they said, would you like to be part of our new brand that we're going to be selling to 20 to 30-year-olds? And a bunch of these companies were like, well, not really, but if we don't do it, then someone else, one of our competitors might. And if this blows up, then we don't want to miss out on it. So a whole bunch of companies, and I've got the names of them here, decided to join in. So we got Asahi, the beer company, right? Panasonic, Kao, which is like air fresheners and stuff like that. Kokuyo, which is stationery. Kinki Nippon Tourist Association, and Guliko, which is a candy company.
I should mention that the Kinki Nippon Tourist Association is a place.
It's not what you think.
It's not what you think. It's a place called Kinki. And yes, there is a place in Japan called Kinki. No affiliation.
Right.
With what you're thinking.
And there's a band called Kinki Kids. And they're just kids that come from the Kinki area. But from outside of Japan, you think they're kids that are interested in...
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. And of course, Toyota was the final brand in this. And so they merged together to all sell products under the Will brand. But Toyota, even though they were the makers of the Will brand, they weren't the controller of it. There was no controller of it. Right. This is probably why it fell apart. Each brand themselves were officially an owner of a portion of the Will brand, and they could do their own advertising and their own product strategy and their own everything.
Okay.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Especially since these are all companies that everybody knows. These are like Panasonic, Toyota, Asahi. They work so hard to have such strong branding, and then they're like, and we'll change to a completely different brand that is somewhat affiliated with our other brand. Yeah. Really weird little mix there. And so we're going to go through a couple of the products that you could buy from the Will brand that weren't the cars. The only one people remember are the cars now. But for 5 years, you could buy Will branded things. So why don't we go through these? We got a few pictures to show you from the archives. The first one being Asahi. They had 4 different types of beers, and some of the pictures are kind of bad because the internet wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, it was difficult for you to find all of these things, right? That's why it took you quite a while.
So they had smooth beer, and they had a sweet brown beer, and you can get Will beer from Asahi. If that wasn't good for you, you can go buy a ton of things from Panasonic. They had 27 different products under the Will brand, including MD players, computers, laundry machines, bicycles.
This is insane to me how this marketing initiative from Toyota blew up, or not blew up because of its reception, but the companies that jumped on board to make these things, like the only common ground here is that they were supposed to use the Will branding, right?
They don't mesh very well.
Yeah. Like you can buy beer or a fax machine or a bike or an MP3 player. These are our offerings for the Will brand.
I really like the Will brand, and so I'm going to write with my Will stationery while drinking a Will beer and driving the Will car.
Yeah.
And the beer thing is probably the funniest to me because it's a car brand making beer. Like it doesn't go together.
Yeah.
Weird,
4
right?
beers. So
Okay.
Asahi made 4 beers.
Cow Company didn't care so much about it, so they only produced 3 air fresheners. So we got a picture of some of the air fresheners. This one here, actually, somebody was selling some new old stock of some. So this is 20-year-old air freshener that they're selling. I kind of want to buy some.
What do you think individuality and what was it?
Yeah, so the Will brand was marketed towards youth with an emphasis on individuality or individualism.
Okay.
Right.
What do you think air freshener for individuals smells like? Young people, individualism. It smells like hope.
You know what's funny about this is this was during the downturn in the economy where young people couldn't get jobs. This was right after the economy crashed in Japan.
No.
So young people in particular didn't have any money to be spending on junk.
On over-marketed things yikes.
Yeah. Kokuyo, stationery company. This is pretty interesting too. Apparently they sold stationery and furniture. So you could get to and this is a big company. People outside Japan don't realize this, but this company owns the market for stationery. And you can get you can see the orange.
Right. It's present on everything, the little orange branding.
Yeah, and you can get the stationery or some notebooks from them. And apparently they also sold furniture, and poor me could not find a Will branded furniture for the life of me. So you can't actually see that. But Kokuyo has a big retail, big retail presence. And so they actually made their own Will stores. So there were only two Will retail stores, one in Osaka, one in Shibuya, and they sold all the Will products, not only their own, but the Panasonic bikes could be bought there, and you could actually look at the Toyota cars in the Will store and sit on the Will furniture.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cross-industry stuff?
Yeah, but it was also Kokuyo's idea to come up with these Will stores, and they had to ask the other companies, can we sell your Will products? And they were like, yeah. Most people in the company are like, Will, are we a part of that? We have 800,000 employees. What is this, Will? Oh, no, right. We did
that virtual team. the guys that did the weird virtual thing.
The Tourism Association, I on the Wayback Machine, you can actually go on their website. So I plucked some of the old website, and this is a picture from it. So you can go to Hawaii, which is
with all that money that you don't have because you're young and the economy.
Right, the young people
really
aren't going on vacation so much.
Yeah.
And then the last one, the candy company, the biggest candy. Yeah.
Asia to Australia for 50,000 yen? That is really cheap.
Europe? Still super cheap.
And that would be for a full package, right?
Oh, yeah, 100,000. I thought it was 190,000.
No, 100,000 is not even one person's flight.
Yeah.
And that would be flight and hotel, like a whole package, right?
It's a pity the economy was so bad because traveling was a great deal.
And then the candy company, and they had just 5 different types of candy or chocolate, which you could buy, including the Will brand. So the meat and potatoes are probably the only one, like I said, that anyone really paid attention to are the Toyota ones. They actually made their own dealer chain specifically to sell these cars.
The 3 of them, right?
Which means Toyota was all in on this idea to sell to the youth brand.
Yeah, it's way different to make some chocolates or some bicycles as it is to make an entire car.
And a dealership network. It probably costs more to make a dealership network than it is to make a car.
Yeah.
And eventually when this went defunct, then they changed the name into the Toyota Nets dealerships, which they still have. But I didn't know this. The Nets dealerships are dealerships specifically targeting females or feminine men.
How about the Waynes? The Waynes dealers.
Weens?
Weens?
Yeah, that's what it turned into. No, it was Nets. It turned into Nets.
And it was Weens before?
To give some context, Japan doesn't just have Toyota dealerships. They have these Toyota dealerships, Toyota Nets dealerships, Toyota Weens. I think there's also GR dealerships, maybe.
And they have Toyota Crown dealerships.
Right, yeah. And they'll specialize in areas because there are so many Toyotas here.
Yeah, there are a lot. To give an example, like these Will cars are based off of the Toyota. Well, most of them are based off of the Yaris.
Right. We should talk about the cars, right? Okay. That's the.
Okay, so these cars are designed to, like I said, appeal to the young people, but it was also an internal project to see what you can get away with in terms of rebranding one car into many different cars. And so they had the platform for the Vitz, for example. And they actually made like 20 different cars on the same platform. This was their early adoption into what is normal now in platform sharing. And so the first one here, we'll take a look at it.
That is quite interesting.
This is the Will VI, and this car was so disappointing in sales that it was canceled after 13 months.
Yikes.
I can't see why, because actually I can. It is hideous.
Or is it just unappreciated?
This is based off of the years, and they sold in that 1 year 16,500, which is really weird. They were expecting more than that because that's not bad numbers.
Looking at it, that's not bad that they sold
16,500. The Will VI.
You actually see quite a few driving in Japan.
That's what I was going to say. They're semi-common.
You do see them from time to time. They have that back window that looks like the Renault Megane, right?
Yeah.
The very vertical back window on an otherwise car you wouldn't expect it to be on.
The trunk is so weird.
You can get them with the 1.3 or 1.5 engines. All of these cars are available in four-wheel drive if you wanted. Look at this one lowered.
Yeah.
You see that? That's funny.
With the white walls.
And underneath, it's a Toyota Vitz. So repairing it is no different from your regular car that sold several 100,000 worldwide.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. You're just paying for the extra style. The individualism. You're paying for the individualism.
And this car was sold from 2000 to 2001, but actually only 13 months. So it was like January until the next February.
Yeah.
The next one, the Will VS, probably the only one that anyone might actually still be interested in.
Mm-hmm. I love these.
So these are styled after the B-52 bomber.
Really?
And it's easy to see why. They are very angular, especially in the front and back with a tapered look. They have a pentagon-shaped rear window, which is a little bit weird. And they're based on the Celica or the Corolla. They were both on the same platform.
I will admit they're a bit odd, but I think they look cool. Like there's something about them that's cool. From certain angles, they look very bad. But that's a good angle, I think. That's a nice one.
We always say it looks like a unlicensed games PC car.
Yeah. Like where they have to over design it a little bit to make it cool and
beams.
That's an official wing on the back of that one, which is weird that they had accessories for a car they only sold 4,000 of.
Really? That few?
And they sold it with 3 different engines, including the 1ZZ and the 2ZZ. The 2ZZ is the 190 horsepower Celica engine.
Mm-hmm.
Came with a 6-speed manual or an automatic transmission. And if you can find one with a 6-speed, there are probably only like 20 of them made. We've seen them at auction every once in a while, but they're still very, very uncommon. 190 horsepower, front wheel drive, 6-speed manual, and otherwise the Corolla rungs.
Yeah.
Right? Or the Corolla Fielder. Aero Tourer.
It came in a purple color, which I think is phenomenal.
Right.
I don't know if it's that one. It might be.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
We watched the commercials for these.
They're really bad.
They are. No. The one for the next car is so weird.
Oh, gosh.
So weird.
I saw some that you were showing. Oh, right. Yeah. That one.
We don't have them up.
I was thinking about it, but there was not enough time to put them in. I only watched them this morning. The last car, this is called the Will Cypher. And this was, again, based off the Vitz platform. And the Will VI was so lacking in sales that they immediately decided to redesign it into this. And this one sold a little bit higher. This one was interesting in that it was the first Toyota car that mandatorily came with a Navi. But the Navi was secretly a tracking device for you.
What?
Yes. And you could actually...
The plot thickens.
This is so weird. Toyota must have been out of their mind when they were picking these things. So they decided to sell this as a regular car or as a lease, but not a regular type of a lease, more like a mobile phone kind of a lease. So like when you get a mobile phone, right, you can either buy the phone outright or you can get the phone for free and just pay for all of your calls, right? So they decided, why don't we use that for the car? And so what you would do is sort of lease the car. You'd have a monthly payment for it, but every time you drove a kilometer, it would charge you a teeny amount. And they would know that because the tracking device in this would know exactly how far you drive because the GPS takes that info and then sends it back to Toyota. And they're like, now here's your bill for how much you drove.
What?
And Toyota expected to only have 5% of the buyers pick this secondary device. But then 17% did. And then they were like, whoa, that's weird. And then the people who bought it wouldn't drive the car because then they'd have to pay for it.
Right.
And so they'd all have teeny tiny little mileage. So Toyota wasn't making any money on that. And so they were like, give us the cars back because you guys are losing us money. And it only lasted like 6 months that you could drive your car with the system. And then Toyota's like, sorry, guys.
So do we know what they did with that?
I suppose that they took the feature off and then sold them as after lease resales as used cars.
Weird.
Yeah. Talk about weird, right?
Okay, you can have this car, but you pay every time you drive it. Okay, I just want to drive it. Oh, we didn't think about that. Can we have the cars back now?
And they sold 31,000 of these. That's why of all of the Will cars, these are the ones that are the most common to see on the road. 7 months, pardon me. They were discontinued in 7 months and you had to give your car back.
Yeah. They're very weird looking. I like that they didn't do the same thing with the back as they did with that other one, because that other one's
right.
Don't like it.
The headlight's kind of weird. It's got like four circular projectors, like 2 for headlights and then markers and fog lights.
Oh.
All together.
Weird.
Yeah, you still see these every once in a while.
Yeah.
They are very, very weird looking. But there's the story of Will, or at least my recapping of the Will story of how Toyota's like, hey, all of you brands, let's make this a thing. Like in a different world, this could have become a huge brand where brands wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
But it turned out that it died because some brands like Panasonic or Toyota were really interested in it, while other brands like the air freshener company was like, not us.
Yeah. Do you think, like, we were talking about this earlier, I really would like somebody who was around in Japan at this time and saw all this going on and also had the reaction of like, this is really weird. I want to talk to them and like have them explain how it all felt, because it seems so like, we'll do some cars and some fax machines and some pens and some air fresheners, and then that's our Will brand.
Yep.
And if you like the Will brand, which I don't really know what the Will brand is other than these companies just coming together to make some
These
stuff.
companies with already stronger branding
Yeah.
are like, yes, I will start branding our stuff with an inferior brand to sell less of them.
Yeah. And
Maybe the concept was we will do whatever we want.
we will do whatever we want.
Oh, and each car had a reason for the name of it. Like the Will VI, the V is for vehicle and the I is for individualism.
Of course. What's the VS?
I don't know. I lost interest because I was like,
They're all made up marketing terms.
by 30-year-olds or younger.
I just like the Will brand. I would like to know what the Will brand did. Did they like? How did they appeal to young people? Did they throw events?
They probably
young people.
A little bit more of this. This was the outline for why they started the Scion brand. So they failed with Will, and then we're like, let's do it again, but this time in America. And then they failed again after 10 years. So the Scion brand, for those who don't know, are a lot of Toyota cars that were rebadged as Scions, including like the Toyota BB became the XB, and the Auris became the XA, and they had an XD, and the FRS started as a Scion because they wanted to sell it to youth. But the only people who bought these cars were people in their 60s and 70s because they were convenient for older people and they were cheap and fun. So we talk about corporate brands that don't really understand. All of this marketing research is wasted.
Yep.
And it was probably millions of dollars to create this among all of the companies for nothing. Weird brands. Okay, next segment. You want to call us in?
Greg wants a mini disc player from Will, so if we can find one, I think that would
picture,
be funny.
I got a picture of one that was for sale. So there are a number of these items that are for sale that you can buy.
I guess they're all very expensive now, right?
I wouldn't think so. I don't think the Will brand is popular enough for people to reminisce on it.
Maybe we'll see if we can buy some Will branded something.
Maybe we will buy.
Maybe we should try to restart it by collecting all of the car exporters and YouTubers and being like, hey, let's be part of this initiative. We'll start not using your branding.
Years too late. Oh yeah.
Now your channel is going to be called the Will channel.
Yeah. Will sponsored videos.
We call it won't.
What? Well, I hope that was fascinating. I think it's incredibly weird. I don't understand it, but it happened. And it's a piece of history.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing this on, but I think it's so weird that Japan, a country known for their corporate, like, how long you've been with a company dictates what your importance in the company is.
Right.
Right? So the people who have been there the longest tend to have the higher end jobs. And then they were like, let's mix that up and have the youngest people. It's almost like today's opposite day. Let's do something about it.
Yeah. And then I would assume once this initiative failed, they were like, nah, we don't do that anymore. We're back to the old ways.
This is why Japan's economy is stagnant. We figured it out.
Oh boy, I want like some insider information about this.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just weird. Okay. Am I introducing the next section? The next section we have the cars. These are auction and dealer picks.
So the first car here is something quite interesting. Why don't you introduce it? I've been talking too much. I need to shut up.
This is a Nissan B1. Is this like the POW before the POW? This looks quite old.
This is a Pike car.
Made? Oh, this was made from 1980. I was going to say 1800s. This is made from 1987 to 1989. And what is a Pike car?
So this is how I started finding out about the Will brand, because the person who designed all the Pike cars designed the Will cars.
Okay. And the Pike cars are?
The Pike cars are a set of concept cars during the late 80s, early 90s that were decided to put into production, and they were classic renditions or a modern interpretation of classic styling.
Right.
And so this was the first of them, and then there were four. There was the BE1, the POW, the S Cargo, and the Figaro. And probably the Figaro is the most famous one because it's very unique and very cool. But this is the first one. In some ways, this is my favorite because it is the most like your regular car from like a cartoon from the 1950s.
I was going to say, it looks like they try to design a forgettable car, right? Like it's cool and it looks quirky and fun, but it looks like it's supposed to be forgettable. To me.
With 88 horsepower, it definitely is. But only 780 kilos or something like that. They're based off of the March, so 1 liter, 88 horsepower, front wheel drive. Obviously, it's not in good condition. This one's at auction today, so you can buy it if you want. Wait, is today the 7th? Yeah, it is. Auction today. And they're old cars and they're made by Nissan, so corrosion's going to be a problem. This one has a corrosion hole in the body, dashboard's cracked, exhaust leak, engine doesn't work very well.
Maybe don't buy this one.
Oil
Maybe wait for
leak,
another one.
exterior paint fade, lots of badness on it. But we're not recommending you buy this car. It's just something interesting to show you.
Yeah.
And auctions are mostly closed this week, so it's a struggle to find anything really cool.
Yeah. Well, it is cool. So this was what started the
this is the first car of the Pike series of cars.
What came next, sorry?
The next one after this is the POW, and then the S Cargo, and then the Figaro.
And it makes complete sense now that the S Cargo was part of this class, but I didn't think of that before. I thought it was POW and Figaro. I didn't know about this, and the S Cargo I knew about.
I thought the Rasheen was part of this too, but it's not. It's not officially a Pike car. The Rasheen is styled by the same dude, but it's not officially one of the Pike cars.
Weird. So this one dude designed the Will brand, some weird looking cars.
He's not even a car designer. He's an industrial designer, and he just happened to dip his fingers in cars. He designs like furniture and stuff.
I'm thinking about this. The taillights, I feel like they are on another car.
They look like marker lights from a different car. Actually, fun fact, this one's got a marker light from the Miata. They actually were like, Miata, give us that marker light. And Miata was like, yes.
Yes, I will do that. Have them.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
I think there was some Renault with the...
Oh, I think you could be right.
Could be.
Style of taillights? I don't...
Were Renault and Nissan friends back then? Could have been.
I don't know, but I will be thinking about it after the show.
Oh, I found out the front marker's from something too, but I can't recall exactly what it was from.
It looks like the car from that one Ghibli movie, which Poco Roco? I don't know.
Pon Poco? Or no.
Never mind, next car.
That guy that's driving it, wait, can you go back? I don't think the inspectors like when I do this, but like that guy, it looks like that's his car. He's like, yep, I'm on the way to design manga. And this is my car. And it fits.
Toriyama, right? In all of the pictures that he drew of himself, he's wearing a mask and glasses. So he looks like that guy. Oh. Maybe that's why we're thinking of that.
Something about it looks like it all fits together. Okay, next car. Should I introduce this one too? Oh, Derek has found a 2015 Land Cruiser 70 for sale.
There it is. Why is it special, Mike?
This is a limited run special for the 30th anniversary of the Land Cruiser. Wait, of the Land Cruiser or of the 70 series?
Of the 70.
70.
Yes. Yeah, the 30th anniversary of the 70
Wow.
series.
That's wild that they've been able to get away
they still
with
make 'em
not
now.
changing the design.
No, they had 3 facelifts in the
Yeah.
40 years that they've been making them, 41
Yeah.
years.
It was only sold for 1 year due to safety standard requirements. Oh yeah, you were telling me about this. They're allowed to do like a limited production run.
Of 4,000 units, so they don't have to go through safety because it would fail.
Right.
And they didn't want to put the money into making it pass. So that's why we had no Land Cruisers here for 20 years. No 70 series, and now it's come back.
Is it? Do you know if it's not coming back under the same thing of 4,000 units?
No.
Is it? Now
No,
they've
it's an
actually
official
redesigned and
model.
okay. First time this one was sold.
Oh, 7,000 units, pardon me.
7,000.
This looks good.
This is also available for sale. What day is it? What's the auction day?
I don't know because there's an auction sheet in the way, so I can't see it. Now I can see the date.
Oh, next week.
These come up to auction frequently, and there are a lot of them at dealers right now. And the reason why is because people pay a lot. I remember when these came out because I was living here in Japan. They were selling for 2.5 million. Now they sell at dealers between 5 million and 6 million
Yeah.
because they were only sold for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And then at auction, I checked it out. It's 3.5 million to 4.5 million. So a big markup on these from auction price to dealer price. And the dealers don't want to destroy the market because they like to make lots of money off of the cars and they know people want to buy them.
Yeah.
But 12,000 US dollars of markup is a lot. So, and they're still pretty expensive at auction. They're still above MSRP at auction.
Yeah. It was limited run for an exceedingly popular vehicle, right?
But you can also go and buy some of these from Australia too. And you can get them with a V8 diesel in Australia. So don't buy them from Japan.
Oh, so the only reason they could only sell 7,000 was Japan regulations. They still sell tons worldwide.
Other parts of the world, they still sold this as a car. And then Japan was like, oh, give us some Land Cruiser. And then Toyota's like, we're nice boys. So here's a Land Cruiser, but only for 1 year. We're not that nice.
Okay. Weird. Because I don't remember seeing these in New Zealand at all. Australia, absolutely. This looks like...
Because New Zealand gets all their cars from Japan, and Japan didn't have these, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been an Australian.
We didn't get
one.
any brand new either. Huh. Weird. Very cool.
That's
though.
fun. Do you want to do something even more fun that's really up your alley, like the type of car that you would really like to have? I think.
All right. Tell me. A red car. I don't like red cars.
Have you ever seen one of these in red? I don't think I ever have.
Did the US do them in red?
Japan did them in red officially. Everywhere in the world did them in red. So this is an Integra Type R, obviously. But this is a very special one. Does anyone know what it is?
I love that Ryuki Sports has all of these brands underneath. Nismo, Mines, Top Secret, HKS.
Yeah, but what do you have to do to have those brands on your, like, do you think they just put the logo on themselves?
No, surely not. They must have some kind of affiliation.
But they do use the most basic font for their logo.
Yeah, that too. They're a GTR Pro Shop.
So this is available at a dealer, and they don't have a price because it's a very, very, very unique car. According to them, I don't know.
Right.
But if you are advertising this, you better be able to back it up, right? Because people are going to ask about it. So apparently this is the last remaining one. They don't say how many existed in the beginning, but the last remaining version of a complete car handmade by the staff at Mugen. And so what I believe that this is it was a like the car that they were showing off, the Mugen bits that you could buy yourself, including the body kit, the exhaust, the air intake, the rear spoiler, whatever you could buy from the Mugen catalog. Right?
Yeah.
But it also has a Mugen badge on it. And it only has 12,000 kilometers.
98 Spec R. Is that all the badge?
Oh, that's an RR there.
Right. Yeah.
The FD2. My favorite Type R.
Cool.
Probably not actually.
I thought you like EK9.
I think EK9 is number one. The NSX doesn't count in my book because it's so rare.
Right.
This car was driven by Keiichi Tsuchiya.
That is a cool picture.
Or they photoshopped him in cleverly to make it
Or
look
they got a
like
short guy and put him in a green suit.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, well, no, they photoshopped him in the car too.
And a Mugen badge on the back.
Okay.
And so I suspect that this is, also a gauge cluster there. a Mugen gauge cluster, but not a mileage unknown car, because it came originally, probably the only car that came originally with that gauge cluster.
Really?
Or one of. I don't know how many. It's probably a press car, right? So probably only made 2 or 3 of them or something like that.
Surely that still means unknown mileage, no? If it didn't come out of the factory like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a bit of a weird one. I mean, if this is what they say and it is as special as it is, then you don't care about the mileage on this car, because if it's one of 3 or one of 10, or
that's true.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Mugen exhaust manifold.
Mugen air intake looks pretty cool.
It also says this has a Mugen racing use ECU.
Racing use only,
Yeah.
ECU. They also have a question mark on the exhaust manifold, whether it's Mugen or not, because it's probably not actually branded, but I would suspect it is a Mugen exhaust header.
If it was actually the Mugen show car, then they would put other parts on it. They no.
I agree.
Unless the Mugen header didn't last this long, and they had to replace it.
Those headers don't last long. The header is only good for, depending on how you drive, 5 to 8 years or so.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And yes, red is the rarest that I know of. They made these cars in mostly white, and then a very small amount of black, yellow, red, maybe blue. And then, of course, being the JDM version of the Type R, you've got the different headlights compared to the USDM one. And somebody said that the front bumper alone sells used now in the USA for $8,500 US.
$8,500.
Just for the front bumper.
Gosh.
I think the wheels are similar in price.
Those wheels are these are pretty easy to get in Japan, actually. This is, you count the spokes, and this is 10, so it's called the MF10 Mugen wheels.
Oh, okay.
And you can buy them they're expensive still, but they're not insane money.
Outrageous.
We bought a set for 120,000 yen about 10 years ago for a customer to put onto his Integra Type R that he bought, and we bought it, but now I think they're worth more, because they're
it must be
harder to find in good condition. And then you can get them in the MF8. I hope I got that right. This is old knowledge in my brain I'm trying to dig out. The MF8 is the 8-spoke version.
You're saying it in front of hundreds of people, so someone will fact check you.
No, 34 people.
But it'll go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then the world will have its way with you.
Yeah. We were talking, we should officially announce this, but we were talking about picking out stupid comments that people say in our videos and announcing them on this.
Sharing them, not announcing them, sharing them.
And then we all make fun of people who aren't smart.
Hey, I don't comment on the videos. It's just going to be things that Mike said in the office.
Or it's going to be
stupid.
Mike going, that Derek.
Yeah.
I know he's stupid.
I just got to find proof.
4 a.m, you've got your coffee. I think this is the one.
Oh boy, 3 a.m. time for a mean comment.
Yeah.
So yeah, something special. What do we got next?
I think this is cool. I would somebody should buy this.
It's probably, that dealer is probably going to want a lot for it, because if the dealer doesn't sell it, this is the car you want to have lying around, so people can be like, whoa, you guys are legit.
Yeah. Ballpark me.
So I think they probably want US dollars. I think they want over 20 million yen for it.
Whoa. I was going to say it's got to be more than 10, but how much higher than 10?
Hold on a sec. Grant, this Mugen Integra, you looked into the details of it, right? No. Okay. 12,000 kilometers, one of one remaining, apparently. Mugen Type R. Keiichi Tsuchiya drove it. Okay. What do you think the price is?
It's impossible. It's
that one, Grant, the red one.
Whoever wants to dip their hands deep enough into their pockets maybe gets to have this one. I think you have to buy it from the dealer and pay them to release it. Because they're like, why do I want to sell it? There isn't any more of these, so I just wait until someone gives me an offer that's ridiculous and I decide I want the money more than I want this cool car.
We should call them. So Grant says 15 million or 20 million.
Yeah. So
that's like 120,000 US dollars to 150,000 US dollars.
Yeah.
We should call up the dealer and pretend that we're interested. Hi, I'd like to know the price on your exclusive car.
It's like, who are you?
Actually, we would be legit enough. We've exported a Carrera GT.
Yeah.
$1 million car.
But would need someone to be at least vaguely interested in purchasing it.
That would be kind of a dick move to call them up just to find a price.
Yeah. Who knows? I have no idea what something like that would be worth. Yes. Now, Max has just said that we need to march right along on the time schedule, so...
The final car here.
No, we said we are not doing the final car.
No, we did say that we're doing the final car.
The
There
final
were
car
there were
has been
3 that you
cancelled.
put into the docket, and I erased the last one of the 3. So,
Okay, then.
but if you don't have it, we'll move on to the next segment.
No, we have it.
Oh, Max is always prepared.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
I was stretching
great.
a little bit. Usually Grant finds these cars, but he was on holiday yesterday because it was a holiday, and I had to do it myself. And this was a little bit of a stretch, but maybe not so much. This is one of those cars that people don't realize exists.
Yeah.
So this is a station wagon, of course, but it is called, gotta say, I love the name of this one. This is called the Avenir.
Avenue.
It's a French word.
Okay.
That's how you pronounce it.
For Avenue.
GT4-SI. It's almost like they were like, Celica GT4, we'll take that, and Honda SI, we'll take that, and put it together because they were mad that Celica took the GTR from Nissan.
Oh.
I think this is it's like the car version of a diss track.
Sweet.
And so this is a station wagon.
Oh, that's cool that the back window flops up.
I didn't
like
even
that.
know that it did.
Yeah. I think we've
A
purchased
large
one,
station
right?
wagon too. There are a number of station wagons that Nissan made, and this is their largest of the station wagons.
Oh, bigger than the Stager.
Yes.
Wow.
And the engine in it, the Stager has a RB25 DET turbo engine 4-wheel drive. This one has an SR20 engine, but the SR20 engine in this is the highest horsepower version of the SR20 outside of the SR20 VET, the variable valve timing version of the SR20.
Right. Oh, I didn't know this was second.
This one is 230 horsepower and 4-wheel drive in it, and it's got the same Atessa 4-wheel drive system as the GTR or the Pulsar had in it.
Okay.
And a manual transmission was available as an option. This one's automatic, as you can see. And it's something a little different.
Were
Right?
these all 4-wheel drive with the SR20?
I think they were. I think that they were all called GT4, and the GT4, the 4 stands for the 4-wheel drive, I suspect. But I don't really know.
Okay.
Grant says the turbos are all 4-wheel drive.
Oh, nice big exhaust there.
I'm surprised this was available in the manual.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
weird, right? And the front bumper is very 90s sports bumper, isn't it?
Back when car manufacturers still had love for people who wanted to shift their own gears.
And then Nissan sells. Because they probably only sold a handful of them. Almost everybody would want the Stager instead of this.
Yeah.
Or if they actually wanted a sports car, they wouldn't get a wagon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, weird, but cool. That's kind of the theme of today's show, right? Weird, but cool.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's go on to the final segment.
The final segment is questions and answers. You have the questions, we've got the answers.
We will even make up the answers if we don't know.
You will get an answer.
answers.
Right or wrong, you'll get it. Cool. I
Okay.
actually really like this segment. We haven't really acknowledged anyone in the chat for what they're saying, but we're seeing some good stuff. We can go over that in a sec. Hit me, Max. Hit us. Hit
Q&A.
Derek.
So
Go hit
last
me.
week we didn't have a show because of Golden Week. So we got some questions that I pulled out. First question was on a very old video that you might remember. Derek's toy review.
Before Derek sold cars from Japan, he used to do toy reviews on YouTube. He was very famous with the age brackets 3 to 7-year-olds.
Which is also
I made
funny.
all of that up, but it
That's
wasn't on sale.
completely not true.
That's
One time, as an impulse purchase, I bought a set of toy cars that came with like 70 Chorokyus. Do you know what a Chorokyu is? In
I
other
do,
countries, they're like considered penny racers or something like
Yeah.
that. And I just on a whim bought a whole bunch of them because I thought it was cool.
How many?
Like 70 or 80 or something like that.
Wow.
And I made a video going through them
Yeah.
one by one for my, I think it was on my personal channel,
Yeah, I think so.
which is something that's defunct now.
Yeah.
Like we don't post anything on it.
It's on the PCA channel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I just sat there
Before
at a
we
table
sold cars,
going,
we did.
So
toy
Mile High,
here's a toy car.
Mile High Racing was asking, any chance you still have them?
I do still. I don't know where they are. They're probably in a box somewhere. Or in one of our big cleanups, somebody threw them out.
No,
I think I still have
they're
them.
here.
For a while, I used them as markers for board games that I made.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, Derek made a board game. If you want to see Derek and I play the board game live,
The board
we
game
should do it.
is incredibly fun, but because the rules are a little ambiguous, there's a lot of arguing that goes on.
Sure is.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So best played when you're drunk. And I used to be a preschool teacher here in Japan. And if you're a preschool teacher, you have to make up fun games. So game theory is always on your mind. And when you stop becoming a preschool teacher and you become a car exporter, some of that has a momentum and carryover effect. And your creativity for the game building comes into play.
Yeah.
Like somebody asked me in a previous one, if you made a video game, Derek, what would you make? And I'm like, oh boy, there's so many things. I could dedicate an entire
Unlocked.
show to it. I find nowadays, because I'm outside of that, I don't think about that kind of stuff so much anymore. And but I still really think that the board game was a very cool thing to make.
We played it a couple times. It's fun.
I've played a number of times.
Yeah.
I think that if you tighten it up, it could be incredibly fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rules sometimes it's like, okay, wait, I got this card that says anyone that you pass on the racetrack is going to crash. So does that mean that if I split my dice roll between both cars, that both cars pass are going to be crashed? Or is this only one car that I can use this card on?
And generally, the person in the lead gets a less favorable rules calling if they're. If you're winning, people
When
are
you're
going to
drunk,
make
yes.
sure that you don't. Yeah.
So what you're saying is we're selling that as merch.
Sure. Yeah. Next episode, we release PCA board.
There's a version of
ready
this
to go.
of the universe that actually got sold as merch, but not this one. And so
Okay.
sorry to everyone who exists in this universe.
Encourage Derek that he should make the board game a thing.
So it needs several hours of development still, and I just don't have the passion for it at the moment. And I would need an artist.
Derek a passion.
I would need an artist to make the board game look nice, because that's really what it's missing.
Hey, we have an artist. He's on the mic right now.
Thank you.
You haven't seen the board game, Max.
No, I have not.
This
Never.
is all. We printed it out on a big cardboard sheet, and
That's
yeah.
cool.
it's interesting.
Okay, do we want to do actual car question?
Yeah.
On the 2010 Vellfire report, the black one, the guy that sent me the Tesla.
Okay.
ODK Kane was asking, how much are those Vellfires in terms of cost for import? So not the car price, but everything that goes around and into it.
Well, that depends on the country that you're sending it to.
Right.
That one's going to Canada, though, but it's going to East Canada. And so there's extra shipping cost to East Canada compared to West Canada. But yes, typically for a Vellfire, it would probably be, you can't say it probably because every country also has its own import costs too.
Yeah.
This is, if you really want to know the answer to something like this, email us your country and then we'll tell you the statistics on it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, this question is too difficult to answer in this format. It's better for you to contact us. We can give you a breakdown as well, so you know where everything is, rather than just give you a random number and then you're like, too expensive or not enough, whatever.
I will say though, a Vellfire, our third biggest car export that we did, and so obviously the market has decided that it's worthwhile to import.
Yeah. Yeah. They are sweet. I can totally understand. I'm not a van person whatsoever. You know this very well, because I always yell when I'm in the van and people drive too
Or the
fast. 'Cause
Lupa.
I am convinced that all vans flip over in their lifetime. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of when. Don't drive fast in your van. It'll flip.
Next shipping question. This was on the last show from Kevin Hill. Do you ship to Panama or Mexico?
I believe Mexico doesn't allow imports. Panama, I don't know. Panama's part of South America, and South America has its own like mini Japan there, just like UAE. So they've got a duty-free zone. It's a port, and then they import a ton of cars from Japan to that port, and then the port is set up to have car vendors and dealers in it. So when it gets imported into Chile, there's no taxes paid, and then it goes from there to another country, and then the import taxes come from there.
Oh,
and
I did
so
not know
a place
that.
like Panama, because it's in South America, they might be getting their cars from that port instead of directly from Japan. I
Okay.
just don't know.
We've never sent a car to Panama or in Mexico, have we?
Panama always seems like a small country to me because on the map it's like this big.
Yeah.
right? So I come from Canada. The bigger the country on the map, the more important it is in my mind.
How dare you, as somebody who comes from New Zealand? We're all the way down there in the corner.
And meanwhile, I live in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next door guy was asking on the last show, are there any races in Japan, I guess, that foreigners can participate in with bought, rented, or borrowed cars?
I know that the Drift Matsuri is very, very popular with foreigners. I think there's almost more foreigners that do that than there are Japanese people that do it. And there are companies like Power Vehicles and maybe a few other ones that will rent you.
Yeah, there's a ton of cars.
Kind of rent you a car for the event. And you can do it all in English. It's pretty easy. But it's not racing. I don't know if anyone does that for racing.
I think there are. I don't know. We don't know of any companies, but remember that video we saw of the guy in the Honda at Central Circuit?
Yeah.
There might be some companies that do it. We just don't know of any. It's more popular for drifting at Ibiza, where there's a bunch of companies set up there who do car rentals or sales or storage and repairs, and they'll set you up with tires and everything you need for drift events.
There's a living the dream aspect of drifting in Japan, right? Because Japan's the origin of drifting. And they're like, I want to go drift on the Japanese roads. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about racing.
Next question.
Still from Next Door Guy. How big is motorcycle export compared to cars?
How big is it compared to cars? I have no idea.
I'm just reading the second question that he's got in there.
I've got a lot of exclusive models that people want. Have you done any?
Okay, so we have exported motorcycles, but we at the moment don't do it unless we've got one of our big dealers is like, I want motorcycles and I want 50 of them. And then, we might consider something like that. Yeah. A motorcycle actually takes more time, effort, and cost to export by far than a car. So if it's one motorcycle, if you have to add in all of the costs that it costs us, especially being a company that doesn't specialize in motorcycles, it's simply not worth it. So we instead of getting into the nitty-gritty with every customer, we just outright, 20 motorcycles in a container, maybe yes. One motorcycle, absolutely not. It's just not worth it. You have to send them by container, as far as I know.
Yeah, there'll be no row options because they have to be purged of all fluids that could cause
and certified of that, and then shipped by container and palleted and so
sorry. It's we're not specialists.
There may be some car exporters that specialize in motorcycles that can give you a better answer.
There definitely are, because the container company that we used to use for loading, I know they do motorcycles because they were loading a full container of one. But you have to buy a lot of motorcycles because in a container you can usually fit like one row at the bottom, and then you would have a false floor and then another row of motorcycles on top. So you got to buy a lot to fill up a container. And if you're doing it LCL, then your prices are just astronomical because you have to crate each motorcycle, so it's not interfering with other cargo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Last comment I prepared is on the 2000 Mark II review from Mahmoud Yassen. I thought that would be quite quick and fun to go over. What is the difference between the Mark II, the Chaser, and the Aristo?
So the Aristo is on a completely different platform. The Aristo shares a platform with the Crown. And so Lexus has three platforms plus a Toyota platform. There's the LS platform, the GS platform. I'm going to screw this up. Grant, don't listen to me right now. Right? There are many more platforms than that. But anyways, I was going through it in my mind. I was like, no, they got like 6. The Chaser, the Cresta, and the Mark II are all a shared platform. The JZX 100 platform, JZX 90, JZX 80 or whatever. It's a lighter, more nimble platform, and they usually have the 1JZ engine. The Aristo is a larger, less nimble platform, more luxurious and heavier with the 2JZ engine. So a different platform completely. The difference between them, they're all pretty similar if they're on the same platform. There's not much that's different other than aesthetics. But I believe that they do have things like different windshield, different back window. They're not just a face. I believe that that's true.
Makes sense for the styling, I guess, but wow, what a big cost.
Grant, do you happen to know if that's the case? So what's... the answer is I don't know. That would be a lot of back and forth to get the answer from Grant here.
What's the actual question? Sorry.
I've heard that there's more than just the faces on the chassis, like the JZX 100s, right? The 3 of them.
Oh.
I think it's more than just headlights, bumpers, grills, fenders.
I believe some.
I think it's even more than that. I believe it's hard points too are slightly changed, like windshields, doors, roofs, these sorts of things. Like rear fender.
Mechanically, they're all identical.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to give wrong information, but
I don't think people heard, but
I think some parts, like I believe that we had to buy a windshield for one, right? And we were like, we need a windshield for JZX 100, and then it had to be the Cresta windshield or something like that.
That'd be weird because they're all JZX 100.
And it would be stupid to make different versions of it, right? And you can swap fenders from one, like front fenders from one to the next, and front faces from one to the next, right?
I don't know. Interesting if it is. Also, I just see the Avenir is still on the screen. 230 horsepower?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Oh, the fastest version of the SR20 has 250 horsepower out of a 2-liter.
No, that's the
X-Trail.
Oh.
Yeah.
The X-Trail gets
Is it more than 250?
250.
Oh, okay. I must have been wrong. I thought the S15 was 225.
No.
We're gonna have to put Grant in a different room when we shoot these shows.
Yeah.
Gregor said we need a max reaction cam on the stream.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need a Grant reaction cam.
He needs his own mic that's like at his desk.
Yeah.
And then a button that mutes all of our mics, and he can be like, actually, this is the real answer.
Look at the little sticker on it that says, "I'm actually."
Yeah.
Okay, we can go into the chat.
Yeah, let's do chat. People have
Gregor was
blown up the
asking,
chat.
do any of you guys build model car kits?
Nope.
You are in the model building mecca. I was thinking about it, but I didn't do it.
Like most car guys, I've done a few and just got frustrated.
Yeah. I know some people who build like Lego, like the Technic models. I think those are even bigger than when I was growing up now, but I don't do it personally.
Maybe we need to do the plug. If you guys have any questions right now, put them in the chat. We'll answer them.
We should build one on the show. Well, okay, this is what we do. No, what? A chat box.
Max said... Never mind. Max was talking about the chat, and then you immediately go, we should build one.
I was just thinking the model cars will, as you announce a segment, and then you try to build the car.
Derek and Mike.
And then... That'll be the whole show. It's already what we're doing. And then I'll talk, and then you build the car, and then you talk, and I'll build the car, and we see if we
can I build it
finish by
wrong
the
on
end of the show.
purpose because it's funny?
Yeah.
Or you guys do the show, and then we have a camera for Jacob and Grant, and they build the model car while you guys talk.
But I want to build the car. That's the whole point of this. I want to build the car.
Okay, Zaid was asking, what are some Japanese forums or sites where cars are discussed, other than Minkara or Cartoon?
I
think those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones. X, Twitter,
Oh, yeah.
is pretty big. But Minkara and Cartoon are the big ones, I guess.
Mean car is the one you always use, right, Grant?
It's okay. Their UX is just.
Yeah, Cartoon.
It seems like you've got the big ones there.
But, yeah. I wanted to do one for my car and use it to learn Japanese.
I like Greg's idea of a competition between us for building something.
I do too.
I like competitions.
Yeah.
I'm okay losing.
Too. That's not true.
How about you, Mike?
No, that's not true. I'm fine with losing, though. I'm very gracious in
Not
winning
true.
or defeat.
So what's the competition about?
Anything.
Like,
we just want to have a competition.
Yeah, okay.
We did have an idea, and this might still come into fruition, of having a Derek versus Mike and mundane stupid things, and having that as a segment on the podcast. And then each time we win money, and then we can use the money to,
Do more stupid things.
do stupid
we
things.
can compete against, though. Have to be competing.
But this only works if the channel is bigger, because if you spend a lot of money on a show that gets 200 views, then you're just throwing money into a fire and then watching it burn.
So if you want to see more competitions or really fun, cool stuff, you got to share this show with your friends and your family. Get it into like, if we could get the show into a children's circle, children will just like watch stuff for hours,
They're
right?
idiots.
The more children we have watching, the cooler stuff you can see. So use the little children as bait to. I don't know where I'm going with this.
You know, the like YouTube Shorts and TikTok, right?
Yeah.
They always have like somebody's video, and then like someone playing with Play-Doh or something.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just cut in for no reason at all because it attracts kids' attention.
Right.
We could absolutely be doing
Yeah,
that.
we need that. So the kids are paying for you guys to see cool stuff without you having to pay for it. This is a great idea.
Instead of the
Multi-level
PCA
marketing.
background, we just have a Minecraft video where someone jumps
Right.
like a.
Right. And then be like,
okay.
here, cousin Jim Bob, you watch this, and then boost the viewer numbers, and then we get more popular, more reach.
Yeah.
Everything perfect.
Makes sense, right?
EF7 and PP1. Did you finish the chips yet?
What chips?
Personally,
No
we
chips were
have
given.
finished 4 bags of chips, and
No
this
chips
is
exist.
2 days.
I don't
Chips
think
are
the
gone,
office
man.
got any of them yet.
You
Chips are gone.
guys,
There were no chips. I don't
eat me. There
understand
was the
what
whole
you're
bag of chips.
No, I mean we didn't eat any yet.
No, yesterday.
Oh,
You weren't
okay.
here because
Okay,
you
yeah,
were
I
you were
did.
taking a vacation. I don't need to work
saying.
for
Colin
Derek.
only bought 2 bags of chips in. I don't know what you're talking about.
Any other good site that sites than Kruber for exporting parts?
Yeah, like companies that buy off of Yahoo Auctions is probably a better place to buy most of your stuff. Like Buy, is it? You can buy
Yeah.
directly from Yahoo Auctions. They'll ship it to you. The only thing is they don't ship some of the larger items, but I don't think Kruber does either. I don't know. Like exhausts or body kits or stuff like that.
And you got to be careful with the suspension. If they've got oil or if they're hazardous to ship. A mirror fell off.
No, I think it's only one mirror was on it.
No, there's definitely a hole for another one.
Oh,
You need to look in the package. Maybe it's
oh yeah.
in the package somewhere. Okay, we're coming close to the end. M0D mod. What do you think about the first gen RX-7 SA22C?
What do you think of it? I'm surprised
Can I have
any
a
of them
picture?
exist in the wild still.
They're all in New
They're
Zealand.
rotary engines.
We took them all.
New Zealand literally has all the
Yeah.
RX3s in the world.
Yeah.
Are all in New Zealand.
And the cities got all of them too.
Show a picture on the stream of what
not coming
SA11
They're not coming
looks
back.
like.
We ain't gonna give them back. We keep them. Rotary is very popular in New Zealand. Very cool too. I won't touch anything related to oil. Yeah, they have a pretty. I don't know. I think it's mostly automated, the stuff that they do, so that if it hits one of their filters, it's just no, we're not helping you. And then they will let you buy it though. We've had customers who have bought stuff from there and then Buy refuses to ship it. Sometimes we can help, sometimes we can't. Yeah.
What do you think of the SA11?
I think
or the SA22?
I think I prefer the RX3. I think this is cool, but I prefer for RX-7s. I really love the FD. FC is leveling up in my love for it after the one that you had, but the FD is still just.
It's weird because
premier.
this was Mazda's very, very much so Mazda's sportiest car when it came out.
This is the one Flavian has, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's weird to think that the RX3 has a lot more love than this. They're the same engine. Well, they're both rotary engines. I don't know how similar they are. I think they're both like the B12 engine. B12?
Okay.
I
Don't know.
You can get these with turbos, but they're probably a mess to deal with. And this one has a racing pedigree, just like the RX-3 does. Maybe even a bigger racing pedigree than the RX-3, especially in North America. But for whatever... Look at this one with the round headlights. What is that?
Isn't that an FC?
No, it is that.
That's really weird.
SA22, which is the late model version. They had a chassis change between the two, and and sometimes they're called the FB engines or FB chassis, even though I don't think they were officially. There's Flavian's car. This one.
Oh. I thought that looked familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they're cool, just not for me. I could see myself owning an RX-3, I think. That'd be awesome.
I just
But
love so
too
much
expensive.
the Japanese cars from the 70s that look like miniature muscle cars. I loved so much.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to be doing rotary from the 70s, it's an RX3 for sure. Can you put a picture of that one on? It was called the what was it called here? The Savannah
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know. It had a different name. One of the best looking, I think, of all of the 70s cars. Unfortunately, it's not available to find in Japan anymore. Unlike most of the 70s Japanese cars, these ones all got shipped off to Australia and New Zealand. I'm not even joking about that.
Yeah.
All of them left. Now there's like 12 in Japan.
Oh, that is so gorgeous to me. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, the pointy grille. Absolutely love it. And yeah, they made the RX-3 in a station wagon version too, which is kind of ridiculous. There you go.
Very cool.
Wow.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
I would dig that.
Okay, we're running out of time. Any last comments or questions from the chat? We got to do more for the chat.
Yeah, we do.
Reward the people who are showing up and watching live. We appreciate you all.
If you guys were to fight in Street Fighter, which characters would you choose?
When I play, when Street Fighter 2 came out, that was the arcade boom, right? And that was the perfect age for that.
Yeah.
And my go-to character was Guile. I don't think I would be a Guile fighter anymore, though.
I liked Blanca.
Yeah.
Because he looks weird, but I don't know any of the Street Fighter characters, or I've never really played Street Fighter at all.
I've only played Street Fighter 2 when I was a kid. I don't know. That's an interesting question, but I like it.
Okay. I think we can wrap it up.
We can wrap it up. All right, everyone. We did our hour and a half, which is now the official length of the show. So we will be back again next week with interesting tidbits of information from Japanese auctions, cars in Japan, and Mike's mustache update. More to come soon.
Stay tuned. An hour and a half next week. Pencil it into your calendars.
Oh, and we get to talk about how much the buyer of the Impreza is going to be ripping us off.
Yeah, that is very sad. But hopefully we can cancel it and then sell it and try to get some more for it, because
I think it's the car's nice. I think it's definitely worth more than that. Anyway, that's going to be all for everyone. Goodbye, and see you again next week.
Goodbye.